Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and tackle what is absolutely the biggest misconception in software development right now. Look, if you've been researching AI and engineering, there's a really good chance you're starting in completely the wrong place. You see, the entire conversation out there is hyper-focused on which coding assistant to buy. But it turns out the real secret to scaling your delivery safely, it actually has almost nothing to do with the software itself. So today, we're talking about mastering the AI-augmented engineering team and why discipline completely triumphs over tools. If you're an engineering leader, a CTO, or a founder, you are probably asking yourself this exact question literally right now. Do I just buy an AI tool, or do I need to hire a team that actually knows how to use one? Focusing purely on the tools is a massive trap. It's so tempting, right? Just grab a few licenses, hand them out, and hope for the best. But as we're going to see, that approach almost always leads to an absolute headache down the line. We are going to break this all down logically. We'll start with the AI tool illusion, then define true AI augmentation. After that, we'll cover where AI teams quietly fail, calculating the real costs, structuring for AI success, and finally, we'll weigh build, buy, or hire. Let's just jump right in. Section 1. The AI tool illusion. Here's the reality check. What actually separates a team shipping reliable, solid software from a team that's just shipping bugs at warp speed is not the software they bought. Think about it. Most serious engineering teams today have access to roughly the exact same set of AI coding assistants, automated testing tools, and collaboration platforms. The playing field on tooling is totally level. The real differentiator is discipline. We're talking rigorous review processes, non-negotiable security scanning, and crystal clear rules for what AI can and cannot touch unsupervised. That is what actually moves the needle. Section 2. Defining true AI augmentation. Because we really need to move beyond just the tools. It's definitely not just about giving someone a license and walking away. An AI-augmented engineering team represents a fundamental restructuring of how you work. In this model, AI handles the repetitive stuff, the boilerplate code, the heavy lifting on test coverage, maybe the initial bug triage. It's woven in as a built-in workflow, not an afterthought. And that frees up your human engineers to focus on what they actually do best, which is high-level architecture, complex judgment calls, and making those critical product decisions. There is a stark contrast here. On one side, you have engineers just using AI on the side. That usually looks like a messy patchwork of tools with occasional, totally unstructured use. Then, on the other side, you have AI as a built-in workflow. The output there isn't just engineers who also happen to use AI. It's a unified unit. Deep integration automates the busy work, and it transforms your entire development lifecycle from the ground up. Now, what's incredibly striking is the Gartner projection on this. They forecast that by 2030, a massive 80% of organizations will shift entirely away from those large traditional engineering teams, moving instead to these smaller, highly efficient AI-augmented units. This matters so much because it highlights a fundamental shift in the industry. Smaller teams are going to be able to do significantly more. That's an absolute game changer if they're a startup or a scale-up and you just can't justify a massive headcount right now. And Deloitte's 2026 analysis backs this up with some hard numbers. They estimate that true integration drives a 30 to 35% productivity gain across the entire software development lifecycle. But here is the catch. That's only when it's done properly. If it's bolted on as an afterthought, you get nowhere near that. When done right, it compresses routine coding from days to hours, resulting in a much lower cost per feature shipped. You're getting the gain from massive throughput, not from cheaper labor. Section 3. Where AI teams quietly fail. Let's talk about the quiet breakdown. These quiet failures, they are the silent killers of engineering velocity. First up, unreviewed AI code slips into production. Why? Because pressure to move fast leads teams to skip reviews. They just assume the code looks fine. Second, there's no single technical owner for AI decisions, so you end up with this confusing patchwork of tools that nobody fully controls. Third, your documentation gets dramatically thinner because, well, the AI writes code way faster than humans can actually explain it. And finally, automated security scanning gets treated as optional just to save a little time. AI code can introduce some incredibly subtle vulnerabilities because it looks syntactically clean on the surface. That makes skipping scans the most common and dangerous false economy in this whole model. If you ignore these pitfalls, you aren't actually getting faster at all. You are just trading temporary speed for a mountain of massive technical debt and some really dangerous vulnerabilities down the road. Any vendor who comes to you and says you can just plug in an AI tool in and completely forget about human oversight, they're just trying to sell you something. You still absolutely need
human review, human architecture ownership, and strict security rules. Section 4. Calculating the real costs. Let's look beyond the subscription fees.
Throwing $20 to $50 per developer at a tool definitely looks cheap on a spreadsheet, right? But that assumes your existing engineers already possess the strict workflow discipline we were just talking about. If they don't, you need to look at the other options. AI staff augmentation, for instance, costs about the same as standard development rates, but you get much higher throughput because that team is already completely fluent in AI. Or you might need a consulting engagement. That's a fixed cost to help your existing team actually adopt the crucial governance and code review standards they need to survive. Because here is the hard truth you will discover very quickly. If your team lacks that built-in discipline, your supposedly cheap little tool is going to cost you exponentially more. The hidden costs show up later. We're talking major production incidents and endless, painful debugging 6 months down the line. You have to factor the cost of rework and potential downtime into your comparison. You can't just look at the monthly subscription rate of the tool. Section 5. Structuring for AI success. It is all about building discipline. To make this work, you must enforce these golden rules. First, designate a single technical owner who is fully accountable for AI governance. This absolutely cannot be a committee decision. Second, make code review strictly mandatory. You need to review AI output exactly like you would a junior engineer's pull request. It's useful, sure, but do not trust it automatically. Third, bake documentation deeply into the workflow so you aren't compounding documentation debt. Fourth, run automated security scans on every single commit. No exceptions, non-negotiable. And finally, treat the team and the tools together as one unified workflow.
Section 6. Build, buy, or hire. Let's figure out how to make the right choice for your org.
So let's map out your next move based on your specific situation. If you have an in-house team but you know you lack that internal workflow discipline, bringing in a consultant to set up governance is going to be your best fit. Now, if your goal is to scale delivery fast without growing your internal headcount, you want to hire an AI-augmented staff augmentation team. And you should really only buy licenses directly if your only goal is just providing basic individual developer productivity tools. Building this discipline from scratch takes a lot of time. That's exactly why so many companies are turning to partners rather than trying to build it all alone while simultaneously trying to ship a product roadmap. I love this quote because it really gets to the heart of the matter. AI tooling amplifies whatever process you already have, good or bad. If you have clear technical ownership and solid existing documentation practices, AI is going to make you an absolute powerhouse. But if your current development processes are a disorganized mess, well, AI is just going to help you create a mess much, much faster. So as you evaluate your own engineering org today, you have to ask yourself this really tough question. Decide if you're truly ready to scale. Do you actually have the process maturity to use AI safely at speed? Or do you just have the budget for some tools? The answer to that question is going to completely determine whether your next launch is a massive success or an absolute nightmare to debug. Think about it. We'll see you in